going on, Stickheads? Mike Stay Carney here, and I'm here with Art. Insert nickname here, Rosian. I was not prepared for this. Usually Mike has to do this.
Yeah, no. What's up, everybody?
So welcome to our first ever official review. Going forward, we are hoping that we're going to be doing more and more of these. We're also working on our format and everything still. So the format you see today, we'll see how it rolls. We're going to want some feedback from you guys. Let us know what you think. But today we are going to be reviewing South Park, The Fractured Butthole.
Yes.
Excellent. So we're going to go through a few different categories. We're going to go through graphics, and then sound, gameplay, and then our final verdict. And we are not going to do your usual final verdicts.
Yeah. We're not doing a scoring system.
No score. No score
numbers.
at all.
Numbers are hard. There's math involved.
Yeah. And everyone just bitches and complains about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's 6.9. That should at least been a 7.2.
Sorry.
I hate that shit. So this is going to be fun. So as you can see, we are one less because someone decided not to get South Park and not to play South Park.
Mike.
Terrible. Unbelievable. Well, we'll find out if he is missing out or not. So let's dive right in. Let's go into the graphics. So what do you think of the graphics?
So if you played the Stick of Truth, it looked exactly like an episode of South Park.
Yeah.
Still looks exactly like an episode of South
Yep.
Park.
It's just a little more polished.
Yeah, a little prettier.
Yep.
For a South Park game, it's as good as you can hope for.
Absolutely. It looks so good.
When you control the character, it feels like you're bouncing around an episode of South Park.
Yeah.
So I mean, as far as this game goes, there's really not much more you can ask for.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's just like you said. I mean, it looks just like Stick of Truth and just a little more shadowing and everything. Yep. I'm running it on the PS4 Pro, which I'm sure is not that much of a difference on the regular PS4 or Xbox One. So. But yeah, it looks great. I didn't notice any like graphical glitches or anything while playing it, which was awesome.
Neither did I.
So they definitely got that engine down, and yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah, it looked really good. And then outside of just the normal walking around the world and playing the game, some of the attacks you do or items you use have like special little cutscenes they all look good. They all, it's all good as far as graphics goes, in my eyes. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I definitely agree on that. And I think this is one of the easier graphics categories to talk about.
Yeah,
because there's really not much to it. Like you said, if you've seen an episode of South Park, you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, when you walk around, your character kind of bounces around like the characters on the TV show do. And, yeah, I mean, it's easy to say there's not a whole lot to it. But it's just easy to say that because South Park is an animated show and this looks exactly the same. So,
which is super impressive still. Like the fact that while you're playing it, the cutscenes look like the show. While you're even playing it, it still looks like the damn show. Like it's impressive.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
So let's move on to
and we're done here.
All right. So let's move on to the sound section now.
What have you found, Super Craig?
Timmy's phone has a bunch of notes in it. Something about a girl who has information about all the criminal activity in town.
What girl?
It just says, find the girl with the dick tattoo.
What girl in town has a dick tattoo? I don't know, Mosquito. But the Freedom Pals must think she's the key to finding the missing cat.
Now, of course, all your favorite voice acting, it's still Matt Stone, Trey Parker, and etc. Everyone sounds exactly like they do in the show.
Yeah. If there's any difference in voice actors, I didn't notice it. I don't think there is any difference.
I don't think so. I think it is all the same.
But yeah, I mean, the voices are all great. Like environmental sounds are good. There's a part in the game where you go to a strip club and they got music in the background and other random noises. When you're out walking down the street, sometimes cars drive past. It sounds like a car.
That's great too, because like while the car passes by while you're in the middle of a battle, all the kids car, and then they all run across back on the sidewalk.
Damn kids, get out of the street!
Oh, it's so funny. The dialogue is just hilarious in this game.
Yeah, so I mean, there's the dialogue in cutscenes, which you're to be expecting in a cutscene. But one of the things I really liked as far as audio stuff is when you go through and you do the battles. Like for every different like team
Yes.
composition that you
Oh,
have.
yeah.
There's different banter back and forth between the characters, like
Yep.
in between, attacks. So that's really interesting. It's one of those things. If you pick 4 guys or 4 characters that you're fighting with, and those are always your 4, you're gonna hear the same lines over and over. So as you unlock the characters, it's good to use the new one at least for a little while, so you hear some of the different interplay between the characters. Which I mean, yeah, I definitely have my lineup of 4 that I primarily use, but every time a new character pops up, I always throw them in there at least for a while so I can hear that back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and oh my God, some of the stuff that's just said is just fantastic. Especially Cartman as the coon.
Yeah.
Oh my God, his stuff is just it's so funny. But it's just so great how they get like all those little tiny things, and then like I say, like, and then all like the battle sounds like while
Yep.
they're fighting and everything, and like as players sometimes get hit, like the comments they make when they get hit
Right.
and shit. It's like this is so great. Like it's just how do you not just enjoy it as you're playing it? Like you said, I mean, yeah, if you use the same team over and over again, then you start getting through some of the same lines
Right.
and everything like that. So, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
It's still good. It still sounds great. So that gives you a little incentive to constantly mix up with your team and everything. So yeah, I think that covers.
Yeah, I have no
right?
complaints about the
Yeah.
sound in the game. It's
I mean, there wasn't much music, and when there was music, it's typical South Park music. Like you
there's
hear from
typical
the
South Park
shows.
music. During the battles, do they play music?
God,
I don't remember.
I think so. I think there's like a little bit of.
If they do, it's like
I'm
it's
trying to-
a faint background music. It's not anything.
It's not even. It's not overpowering
Right.
at all. Because they want you to hear the banter. And
Right, the
everything going on.
dialogue, yeah.
exactly. But all the music and everything, it sounds like it would be straight from a South Park episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, so let's get into the meat of it all, the gameplay. So the gameplay is, so while it looks the same, it's a little different this time around.
A little bit.
The combat's a bit different.
It is.
It's more of a grid system tactics kind of based, where your attacks are you get certain, each attack covers a certain amount of range and space on the grid.
Right, yeah, different attacks. Sometimes some go in a straight line, some go in a vertical and a horizontal cross, some will go in like an X shape. Some will cover like 3 squares and 3 tiles in front of you,
Right.
All across. So there's definitely some strategy there in picking out which attacks you want your character to have. Your character is really the only one that you can pick the attacks for, and you do get to pick from a variety of attacks as you unlock more stuff in the game.
Oh yeah, it's crazy the amount of classes you get to choose from, which is really impressive actually. 'Cause
Yeah.
they come up with all these different ones, and every single class has their own ultimate finisher
Yeah.
too, which is really cool. And then as you pick a class, you get to pick which ultimate finisher you want from which one you want to use from those classes you've been picking,
Right.
which is really neat. But the tactics, I was a little worried about the tactics-based combat
Yeah.
because I'm not good at that at all. So there were some battles that I struggled with quite a bit, and I think it's because of I don't have that strategy mind necessarily.
Yeah, there's some of that, and actually one of the downfalls that I found in as far as the battle system goes is so if you remember the Stick of Truth, everyone basically said it's like baby's first RPG.
Right. Yes.
This is still, at least as far as the combat goes, very similar in that aspect. And one of the things that bothered me is like in the grid system, I didn't see any kind of positional advantage. So if I got behind someone, usually
Oh,
in
right.
RPGs, if you
Yep.
get behind someone, you do more damage
Right.
if you
That-
attack from behind.
Yeah, that didn't matter.
That's not a thing in this game.
Nope.
They do have you can do knockback attacks, which will knock the enemy into either another enemy or one of your teammates and do more damage that way. But I think that's about the extent of like tactical, advantage you can get in a battle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you can before you enter battle on the if it's like a random battle, not a random battle, you could see. So on the world map, you see the characters before you get into
Right.
battle with them, but you can run up to them and fart on them,
Right.
and then punch them. So you get so not only do you get first strike, but the characters that you farted in front of are then grossed out at the
Right.
beginning, which actually helps greatly. Being grossed out like takes a lot of hit points away at the end of your turn.
Or with that, also you can throw firecrackers at them and they'll be they'll be burning instead
Right.
of grossed out.
Right. God, I didn't even think about that. I should have done that more.
But I mean, like those two things and the knockback attack seems to be like really the only like strategic part of the battles in this.
Right.
There are some different battle types. So the most common one you'll have is wipe out all your enemies. But there are ones where it's like you need to get to this point, before they kill you.
Right.
And it's not all about killing the characters in front of you.
No,
It's like
more getting
just
all the way across the room.
as fast as you can, just plow through all whatever's in front of you. So
Especially that ship club battle one.
yeah,
Woo!
that one took me a few tries before I figured it out. So yeah, I mean, there's a slight variance in battles. I mean, those battles that come up with the special objectives are few and far between in my experience.
Yeah,
and
they were.
probably should have mentioned this off the top. You played all the way through the game.
I did. So I finished. I finished and completed the game.
And it took you like what, 18
It
hours?
took me about 17 to 18 hours, and I got about 67% of the trophies.
Okay.
So like, I mean, I was going through a lot of it was like searching, looking for things and hidden items and stuff like that. But then I did hit a certain point where I was like, all right,
Let's just go.
Let's just go. Let's get through the story because. If it's like Stick of Truth, I can come back and do everything else. And I was praying to God that there was no missable trophies like the fucking chimp Pokemon on the UFO ship from Stick of Truth.
So you play all the way through the game. At the end of the game, do they let you free roam back in the town?
Yes.
Or is it, okay.
Yes.
I thought I'd heard that
the
somewhere.
So the whole world is open afterwards. Yes.
I'm about 14 hours into the game, so I got another 3 or 4 hours ahead of me.
You're pretty close, yeah.
I've played enough of it to formulate my opinion on the game. Other aspects of the gameplay I'm thinking of, traversing the town of South Park is very similar to Stick of Truth. It's just you walk up and down the streets. There's a fast travel system.
Fast path.
Yeah.
With Jimmy. Let's go quickly. I love it.
So that is, and the town is still, it's very familiar if you played Stick of Truth. Most of the buildings are in the same location they were before.
Yeah, pretty much everything's the same.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things about this was if you played the Stick of Truth, this game starts off like at the end of the Stick of Truth.
Yep.
So if you're like myself, I haven't watched South Park since I was in high school. But I played the Stick of Truth. I love that game, and it jumped right back in. So I was like, great, I'm caught up.
Yep. Right. Exactly. No. Absolutely.
Outside of that, like the story in the game, changing from magic to superhero type story. For someone like myself who's not into superheroes, doesn't really matter.
Right. No, not at all. It's hilarious. It's fun. I mean, they are making cracks at Marvel versus DC throughout the whole thing. So, which I mean, if you're even just a culture nerd, like you know, like how that is with all the movies and everything like that. But it's it's great. It's fantastic. The story's a lot of fun. I think it. Now, me completing the game, I think that the last third of the game falls off a little. I think it's like they're starting to get to a point where like there were still some cool parts to it, but then you get like you're making progress and everything. You're like, okay, I think I'm getting closer to the end, and then you're like, okay, nope, this is gonna keep going. Okay, this is fine. Like it's no big deal. And then it's like, oh wait a minute, that the credits are rolling. That was the end. Like you kind of get like that. But then again, South Park episodes tend to end like that though sometimes. Like so, like I mean, I understand like kind of where they were coming from in that aspect.
So South Park episodes just do suddenly cut off and roll credits.
Right.
After a joke is made, and but also they've already announced they're going to release 2 DLCs for this.
Yeah, there's gonna be 2 DLC packs. So I'm kind of curious to see how those are going to turn out. Hopefully they're good. Because it's one of those things too. It's like those could always be hit or miss, and it's like I don't want it to.
Yeah,
I don't know.
My biggest issue with DLC is always that usually by the time they launch it, I'm past that game.
See, and that's my problem, and I have a hard time going back into it. And like right now, like I'm done with South Park. Like if I want to, there's some other things I can do, and like I could probably complete in the next day. But it's like, or do I trade it in and get like the full $30 right now for it, like full value for it? Or if I wait until to do the DLC stuff, then it's only gonna be worth like maybe $10 at the end of the day. Like, I mean, and like I tend to hang on to certain games, but I'm starting to get into that habit where I'm like, you know what, I gotta stop hanging on to games just to fucking hang on to them. I never pop them in, I never do anything.
Right.
Like, they just sit on the shelf. As you can see, all these old sports titles from PS2 that are over there, just sitting there, you know?
Those are so hard to resell, though.
Oh, they're not worth anything.
That's off topic.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so that's the big part with that. But this game itself, the Freshman Hole that you will buy is retail. The gameplay, like I said, I had, for the most part, very solid, ran very smoothly for the most part. I did have a few glitches, sound not syncing up with mouths during cutscenes towards the last third of the game. So I could tell they might have been. They didn't want to delay the game maybe again to get some of these bugs out. Again, patches can fix all that and everything like that.
When that happened to you, had you been playing the game for a long time in one sitting?
When I hit that, yes. Actually, when I hit that cutscene, yes, that was probably like, and actually, I stopped playing right after that part, and so that was like probably a good 2 to 3 hour session I was doing at that time.
Yeah. So I had one crash in the game, and I posted about it on Twitter jokingly. I'm not actually mad at anybody for this, but I mean, crashes are frustrating, but it's one in the whole game. And I had been playing from about 9 o'clock at night till like 5 in the morning. So I'd been playing for like 7 or 8 hours straight. And I noticed like leading up to the crash, like the game was starting to chug. Like I would do an attack in a battle, and it would just kind of freeze for like 10 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And then like the battle would continue on. So I'm not sure if there's something going on in the background or if it was just a fluke that it happened. Nowadays, one crash in a 20-hour game, I don't consider that be that big of a deal. Plus, as far as I'm concerned, Ubisoft and PlayStation did me a solid by killing the game so I can go to bed. Because it's definitely, at least in the early stages when I was playing it then, it was definitely one of those things where it's like, all right, one more thing.
Absolutely.
And I, like I said, I wasn't mad because he did me a favor. I should have been in bed well before that. I think it was a Saturday night going into Sunday. And then my wife was shocked that I was up at 11 o'clock to watch football.
That's pretty good. At least it wasn't a work day.
No,
that would have been brutal. You would have just rolled into work.
Well, so that happened Saturday going into Sunday. Sunday night I did play more, but it was like one of those things like I set an alarm on my clock for midnight, and when that went off, I was going to bed. Yeah,
right.
Because otherwise I was worried that I would be up till 5 in the morning playing it, and then it's like, oh, my alarm's gonna go off in 20 minutes. So
nice. This game, I mean, I will say that is the one thing about this game. Like as you're playing it, you just want to keep going and discover more. There's just more and more. Every time you discover a new thing, a new enemy, it was just funny. It was great. Got new characters. Like, oh, let me put them in my party. I want to see their ultimate. Like, that was always my thing. What moves do you have, and what ultimate power do you have? Because the ultimate cutscenes were awesome.
Right.
They after a while, I was like, all right, I've seen all of them. I wish there was a way to kind of fast forward them or skip them or something. So, but if they're okay, they still weren't that long. Like to where I got to the point where I was like, all right, come on, let's go. This is great. And all of the ultimates, they all look really cool.
Yeah. Plus, when you consider your character has God knows how many ultimates options by the end of the game.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. And I highly recommend you gotta do if you're gonna play the game, you gotta do Tweak and Super Craig separately. Like when you first get those characters,
and then do it later in the game.
And then there's a side quest that you do, and pertaining to those two, and then you do either one of them again after you complete that side quest, and it's awesome. The ultimate totally changes, and it's awesome.
Super Craig's the one with the hamster.
Yes.
Yes. So Super Craig's ultimate, it cuts. His ultimate is when he's the initial one when you first start the game. It's not really a spoiler. It's just hilarious. No. Basically, it cuts to a picture of Super Craig, and I guess he has a pet gerbil or hamster, and it's a live-action gerbil or hamster. Yeah. And the attack is just that the hamster or whatever it is runs at the enemy and hits him.
Yeah.
But just awesome. The first time that live-action hamster pops up, it's hilarious. Sorry if I just spoiled the hilarity for you.
Oh, God, it's so funny. Yeah, you got to make sure you do that. That is actually very powerful ultimate as well.
Yeah, it's
very strong.
He's one of my constants because in general he's super powerful.
Mosquito is one of my constants because as you attack, he regains health, so which is awesome. But yeah, no, like I said, I mean, it was really enjoyable, very enjoyable. So I guess that's a great lead into our last category.
Yep.
Our final verdict. So, like we said, for our final verdict, we're not doing scores. Everyone does scores, and everyone bitches and complains about scores. And then you have Kotaku, who does, should you play this, yes or no? It's a little too simple, I think, because yeah, sure, play it, but only if you're a huge fan or whatever, It's
right.
like, you know what I mean? You don't know, like, whatever. So, as of right now, we have basically three levels. As of right now, we have a must-play, play for during a sale, and avoid. So we're still fine-tuning those and trying to figure out exactly what we want to do. But as of right now, when we're going to start here, those are our three that we're going off of. So Art, out of those three, what we give South Park the Fractured Butthole?
So I'll say this: whenever we, obviously, must play is like an extreme. It all depends on you as a person. There's going to be some caveats. I think this is a must play game. If you were ever into South Park, it's entertaining. Like I said, I haven't watched South Park since I was in high school, and that was damn near 20 years ago when it first came out. The only people I would say shouldn't play this are people who could be easily offended or grossed out.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's, I mean,
yes,
that's just,
absolutely.
you have to come to expect that with South Park.
With South Park.
You wouldn't tell someone easily
Right.
offended to go watch South Park either. I think this is a very, very good game. Like you heard there, my complaints are few and far between. The game's not perfect by any means, but it's very, very good. And especially if you're into, the South Park type of humor, the over-the-top, gross humor, immature humor, that kind of stuff. And the game is really just a vehicle for delivering the story and the jokes. It's not a super complex game. Like we were talking about the battle, there's not a lot of strategy to it. It's just, and it feels like just an extended, like a South Park movie or a very extended episode. They just kind of get you the whole story there of, the two rival superhero groups and whatever story's going on in town with, not gonna get into it too much. You'll get into it if you play the game, but
No spoilers.
yeah, I would very much recommend this for anyone. Just know what you're getting into with South Park ahead of time. That's the only caveat I would have for it.
Yeah, and I fully agree with pretty much everything you said. I definitely give this a must play as well. It's funny, it's disgusting, it's offensive. I love it. I absolutely love it. The special level, I don't want to spoil it, but that one special level, Flappy Bird.
I think I got that. I'm gonna do that.
Oh, you haven't gotten there yet?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, you're in for a treat. So without, I won't say anything else other than that. But just wait, you'll know what I'm talking about when you play it, and it's a very special treat. But yeah, this game, I mean, it looks great. It looks like a South Park episode. Like I don't really watch South Park regularly anymore either. I think season 10 was the last time I really watched it a lot. I did watch the prologue into this episode that they had on during this season, just because I heard they're like, oh, it was all over like Kotaku. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
everyone was like,
prologue.
it's gonna be a lead into the
well,
game.
you know what? Maybe I'll go watch it really quick, and it totally did. It was like basically the game, which was cool. But even if you're not into South Park and like you just appreciate like crazy, gross type humor and fart jokes, a lot of fart jokes.
Maybe a little bit too much fart
Maybe a
jokes.
little bit too much fart jokes. And just like over the top, just hilariousness. Like some of the villains that the boss battles they had in there are just ridiculous. But it's totally worth it. It's definitely worth your money. And then, like I said, and then we have a couple other more story coming this time along. Stick of Truth. With Stick of Truth, that was it. There was no DLC. With Fractured But Whole, there's going to be 2 DLC missions. So hopefully those will be kind of extended. And I'm kind of curious to see. I am excited to see what those are going to be more so about.
Yeah, and like the one thing I was just thinking of, comparing this to Stick of Truth. This game, like I said, still a great game. Still, super funny, has its moments. There's not as many of those that I'm seeing, those shock moments that were in Stick of Truth.
No.
So there's no, in Stick of Truth, you went into an abortion clinic and you're fighting Nazi
my
zombie
God.
fetuses, and
That was so
there's
crazy.
a part of the game where you're miniature and you're fighting people in a bed where your parents are having sex. And
Yep.
your dad's ball sack is swinging past your face.
Oh,
I didn't.
There wasn't those type of factors.
That stuff's not in there.
No.
So I'm not sure if they were told to tone it down a little bit or they made
I
a choice
have
on their own.
I have a feeling because that was still under THQ. This one was fully under Ubisoft. Because even
That game
Ubisoft
started-
published it,
that
it
ga-
started at THQ
Right.
though. So I think they were so far into it. They were like, well, we're not going to totally go ahead and finish your game.
Yeah.
And then for the second one, we can't have ball slapping going on, which is unfortunate.
Those 2 scenes in that game, in Stick of Truth, I played through. I'm like, how the fuck were they able to release
Which
this?
is so amazing, unbelievable. There's a couple there's more not shock factors in this one, but more like oh man kind of factors.
Yeah.
Like I cannot believe they're doing this still.
Yeah, I mean, there's still
there's still a couple of those, but not like you said, not to that extreme of the abortion and the underpants gnome scene with your
Yeah.
parents fucking on the bed. So
Yeah, that's
awesome. So that's our thoughts on South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Thank you so much for tuning into our review. Please let us know in the comments what you thought of this review. Like I said, this is our very first formal one, so we definitely want your feedback. We want to make these enjoyable for you. And let us know about our rating system. If there's something like, we're never gonna do numbers. I can tell you that right now. We will never do numbers.
If you have other ideas, throw them at us. But if your idea is do it on a 1 out of 10 scale, no, it's
not gonna happen.
Save your characters.
It's not gonna happen. You can comment if you want. You might get a picture of a middle finger from one of us back.
I don't know if I go that far, but it's not gonna happen.
It won't happen.
All three of us dislike that scoring system and the controversy that always surrounds it enough that we'll never do a 1 to 10 or 1 to 100 scoring system. There will never be numbers involved, so sorry if that's what you're looking for. But if you have other ideas, throw them at us. I mean, we're open to anything. First time doing this, so let us know what you think. Good, bad, otherwise.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stickheads, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We stream every Tuesday night.
On Twitch.
Twitch.tv/TheSticksPodcast. This upcoming week is Halloween Tuesday.
Yes, that's probably not happening this
it'll
Tuesday.
happen on Wednesday.
Possibly.
But normally every Tuesday night we stream a game and we rotate, and it's always something different, and it's a lot of fun. So you should come check it out. So thanks again, Stickheads. Take care.